blossom growing on a tree, white and pink and lazy as can be. But I'd be king just in the spring, so now I think it over. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else but me. If you sit around and find the world is gloomy, and it isn't just your cup of tea, it's easy to imagine that it's rose in bloomy. You can think the things you want to be. So when all is said and done, imagining's a lot of fun. But when there are battles to be won, be what you are, it's best by far, and soon you'll be in clover. Gee, I'm glad I'm no one else but me.
Hey there! I'm so excited you decided to join me today, because today I'm going to show you how I took a baking fail and turned it into a baking win. This recipe starts with my triple layer vanilla sponge cake, the same cake that I used for my strawberry shortcake video. Now, what I did was I did a quick re-edit of the video just to take you through the cake portion a little bit quicker, but if you need the slower step-by-step version, just go to my strawberry shortcake video. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, here we go. So, using your paddle attachment, take your room temperature butter, and we're going to take our vegetable oil, and we're going to mix those together on about medium-high for about a good 4 minutes. Next up, go to your dry ingredients, sift all those together. That's your flour, your baking powder, your salt. We're going to sift those to have nice, light, airy cakes, and then we can just set that aside. Next, take your granulated sugar and incorporate it slowly into the butter and oil mixture. And you're going to let that mix now for another few minutes. We want it to get to this beautiful pale white color. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Great. Now we're going to take our eggs and we're going to put those in one at a time, because that's what we do in baking. And don't forget that vanilla. There we go. Nice. Okay, next up, half of the dry ingredients, and mix it just so it all comes together nicely. Careful not to overmix, and use your spatula to push down the sides. Okay, so coming up after that, our room temperature milk. Just pour it all in, mix it all up, again, not at too high of a speed, and then we're going to finish off with the rest of our dry ingredients, and we want to bring that all together beautifully. Just a quick little tip. Once you've done this, use your spatula. Get down right to the bottom of the bowl to make sure everything is mixed in nicely together. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to divide the batter evenly between our 3 baking tins. I use an ice cream scoop, and then I use my offset spatula just to even out the batter on all 3 tins. We're going to pop these in the oven at 350 for about 22 to 26, 28 minutes, depending on the heat of your oven. A good tip here, you can tell where they're done. Look at this. When the edges pull away from the sides of the pan, they're finished. Now we're going to let those cool fully before we flip them. Now, watch this flip. This is great. In fact, I'd go as far to say as this flip is textbook. Look at that. That is wonderful. You see, the last time I baked this cake, I was doing it for a friend, and I got a little bit ahead of myself, and I didn't let the cakes cool completely. So when I flipped them, one of them cracked, one of them was totally fine, and one of them fell apart. So I knew that I was going to have to bake these cake layers all over again. Now, on the outside, I was trying to stay calm, but on the inside, I was a little more reminiscent of Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. Just when I was about to throw these cake layers out, my partner Greg, who's usually the voice of reason, said to me, "Why don't you make a trifle?" And I thought, hey, why don't I make a trifle? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a trifle. Now I've already baked up my cake layers and they turned out beautifully. None of them broke. Here, I'll show you. There's one. We're just gonna set these aside here. Now a typical English trifle is usually just a sponge cake or perhaps even some stale old cookies, and they soak them in sherry or maybe a sweet wine. Then they layer it with custard, some fresh fruit or jam, and then maybe some whipped cream. But I'm gonna put a little more of a summer spin on this, and I'm gonna do mine with limoncello. Here, look at this bottle. This bottle is beautiful, and I love limoncello. So I've only made this a couple times before, and each time the feedback has been more booze. Okay, so I've taken quite a bit of limoncello this time, and I'm going to just brush it on the cakes quite liberally. Now, some people really like their trifle soaked. I'm kind of in between. I think you can do it however you want. And if you don't want to use alcohol, perfectly acceptable to use fruit juice. So this is going to be a very boozy cake, often referred to as a tipsy cake. Okay, there, all done. Now, if that's not boozy enough, I don't know what is. So important, you want to let those cakes sit for quite a while, probably at least a good half an hour. So what we're gonna do next is I'm going to take you through how to make a beautiful lemon curd. Okay, next, I'm going to show you how to make an easy lemon curd, and all you need are the ingredients in front of you. Fresh lemons, butter, sugar, some cornstarch, and farm fresh eggs. I want to show you these eggs. I got them at a new store in town called Sweets and Meats. Now, look at the color. That is fabulous. And I want to read you what's on front of this carton here. Our hens are rotated to fresh pasture once per week from May to October and are free run during the winter months. I love that. Okay, so let's go over to the stove and make some lemon curd. Hey, welcome to my stove. We've never really been over here before. Okay, so what I did was I grated 3 tablespoons of lemon zest. That's about 3 to 4 lemons. And I squeezed off a cup full of lemon juice. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our saucepan and we're just going to turn on our stove. There we go. And we're gonna turn that down to medium to low. Now, next, I'm gonna take a cup of butter here. I'm gonna put that in. Oh, here, let's get all that going there. There we go. This is 1 2/3 cup of sugar and our lemon zest. So let's get all that in. Now, we want to start melting all that down together. So we just stir it in. Now, as that's melting down, what we are going to do is we are going to take our whisk and we're going to whisk a teaspoon of cornstarch. There we are. And our cup of lemon juice. In here I already cracked the 4 eggs, which I think I told you. And I'm just gonna give that a good whisk around. There we are, nice. We wanna make sure that those yolks fully break apart. Now what the cornstarch does is it acts as a thickener along with the eggs, and that's what's going to help your lemon curd set. So I'm just gonna set this down for a while. I'm gonna find my bigger whisk here, and I'm just going to keep stirring this until the butter and the sugar all melt and dissolve. Now it looks like our sugar mixture and butter and lemon zest has fully melted and it's coming together nicely. Next, we take our egg mixture with the lemon juice and the cornstarch. There we go. I'm just going to set that aside here. And we slowly start to whisk that in. There we are. Now this is going to yield about 3 cups. This takes a good 7 to 8 minutes. So on my stove right now it's about 140. So I'm going to be turning this very slowly until about 147, 148 till it thickens up. Now watching me do this is a little bit like watching paint dry, so we're just going to cut to the end. Okay, so the lemon curd is done and it turned out beautifully. Next, you're just going to want to put it through a colander or a strainer just to strain out any bits of perhaps lemon rind or any parts of the egg that you wouldn't want in a lemon curd, because very nice. Now next, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cellophane wrap and I'm going to place it on top of the lemon curd directly. Now you want this lemon curd to go down to room temperature, and then it needs to chill in the fridge. But I just want to show you that beautiful color there. Check that out. That is gorgeous. So, as always, I have a little bit of cleanup to do. I'm going to let this go down to room temperature and then let it set in the fridge, and then we'll be on to our next step. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make some whipped cream. Now, in here I have 5.5 cups of heavy cream, and I've even chilled the bowl, and I've chilled my whisk attachment. It just whips up better that way. Let's see if we can get this all attached in there. Good. Put it in, lock it down. Now I always start it a little bit slower, and then I speed it up. Here we go. That way I just don't get it all over me. Okay, that looks about good. We just want it to whip up to nice stiff peaks. Turn that off, lift it up, and we undo the whisk attachment here. There we go. Give it a little shake. Look at that beautiful whipped cream. Now, I'm going to take this beautiful lemon curd and I'm going to fold it in and make a beautiful lemon mousse. So I wanted the ratio of whipped cream to be a little bit more than the curd itself. There we have it. We want to get all that beautiful lemon curd in there. And I'm just going to fold it through with my spatula. Good. So you want to mix that nicely all the way through, but to have a few little yellow streaks is also kind of fun. Here, let me just show you the end result. Oh, here, one little spot there. There we go. And there it is. Nice. Let's do a little taste test. Whoop. So good. So beautiful. Nice and light. And now we can start to assemble the trifle. Okay, so this is really quite simple. Here, let me just give this a little wipe. I'm gonna take this lovely glass. Now, full disclosure here, I tasted the cake. I actually added another 1/2 cup of limoncello, just because I just felt it needed a little more zing. So I cubed the cake, and I'm just gonna put those on the bottom of the glass. Okay, now part of the fun of a trifle is seeing what you're getting. Now, I'm just gonna take some of this beautiful lemon mousse and I'm gonna put that in there. And we can afford to be a little bit generous. Okay, we do have lots of it. Beautiful. Let's see how that looks. I say it looks like even more. There we go. Now, I'm going to take some beautiful summer fruit. I've sliced up some peaches from Niagara. Just place them all in. And it's still strawberry season in Lunenburg, so I cut up some beautiful strawberries that I got from Sunnybrook Mill Market. And I'll just place those all in there. Wow, this is looking lovely already. And then I'm going to top it with some Canadian blueberries. These are also Nova Scotia blueberries. Just gonna put them there. Now part of the fun, as I said, of a trifle is seeing what you're getting. See that? Nice. Now, I'm just gonna take another little dollop of this beautiful mousse right on the top there. Just like that. I'm gonna give the glass just a little bit of a wipe on the edge. Very nice. And I top it off with just a little bit of green. Can you see that? That is lemon balm. which is very appropriate for this dessert. And that lemon balm grows in my garden. So look at that. That's a beautiful thing. You know, and if you start to make desserts like this, pretty soon you're going to be saying to all your friends,
Be my guest, be my guest, put my trifle to the test. All these layers so delicious, they fulfill your dessert wishes. Vanilla sponge, lemon cream, fresh fruit too. Is this a dream? When these flavors come together, they will bring you so much pleasure. Add some booze, don't be shy. This is not your mother's pie. Limoncello adds the right amount of zest. So take this tip from me, this trifle's so easy. So be my guest, it's the best. Be my guest.
okay, so you didn't think I was going to do that whole video and just decorate a little dessert in a glass, did you? But then again, why not? Have a dinner party, make some trifle, and put them in an assortment of different glasses. That would be fun. Or put them in a beautiful trifle bowl like this and have a big showstopper. Now this is sponge layered with the lemon mousse, the beautiful peaches, more sponge, more beautiful lemon mousse, and some fresh summer berries, and again a beautiful sprig of lemon balm from my garden. So that's how I turned a baking fail into a baking win. And just a quick story about this bowl. After I'd had my baking fail, I made some trifle and I put them in glasses similar to this. The very next day, my partner goes to the consignment store down the street and he calls me and he said, there's a trifle bowl on sale here for $12. It was in the half price section. This is from Italy. It's not crystal, but it's beautiful glass and it's a beautiful, stunning showpiece. So, just one more thing. I want to thank my friend Lisa from the YouTube channel and so on. She gave me a shout out on one of her videos, and since that time I've had many people come over to me and I'm really, really humbled and excited by that. So thank you very much. Lisa suggested I show my house. Now, I live in beautiful Old Town Lunenburg, which is a World UNESCO Heritage Site. Do you want to see my house? If you want to see my house, leave it in the comments. Just say, Stephen, let's see your house, and we'll make it happen. So, until next time, bake on and have a great rest of your day. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my channel. Now, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and maybe share with your friends. And if you do subscribe, ring that little bell. That little bell lets you know when the next video is available. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Dancing Baker Canada. So, I'm just gonna leave you here with this. Whack! Boom! Ha! See you next time!
But I'd be king just in the